Hi guys, it's Ona. Today is, Thursday, January 2nd, 2020. How cool. Made it through New Year. I am going to do a video on Andy Warhol. I had a strong pull and strong connection. I mentioned in my last video that I was going to the Art Institute to see the Warhol exhibit, specifically to see if I can pick up anything, because he had been kind of filtering in and out of my consciousness for a while. And that opportunity came up, so everything happened the way it did. I went there and I took some pictures, and it was absolutely explosive. I cannot describe anything other than explosive. And I was totally blown away. So I walked through the exhibit. I took some pictures. I did some scrying into the art that he did. Brought it home, did some research, watched a documentary, and I connected when I tasted sugar. I don't like sugar really all that much, but I smell sugar and I taste sugar, and he's around. So I'm going to put up a picture of a self-portrait that he did in 1948. So he was born in 1928. When he was 20 years old, he did this self-portrait, and this was my favorite. That was my favorite picture in the whole exhibit. What is really, really interesting about this is it's very faint. It's just a pencil drawing, is the way he's holding his arms in this picture is exactly where he was shot 20 years later and died and was resuscitated right there. And for the rest of his life, he had to wear an abdominal binder because he was all scarred and, probably herniated. There are a lot of pictures of him showing his scars, and he is extremely brave for doing that in the first place. And it's pretty amazing. So we're going to bring him in because he's already here. But this is really, really the most incredible thing I saw when I was there. I'm wearing this on my hand. It's something that my mom got probably from the Vatican gift shop in Rome, to remind you that, or let you know, in case you didn't know any history, was that he was very, very religious and grew up Catholic and spent a big portion of his childhood in church every Saturday night and all day on Sunday. And throughout his adult life, he was often and frequently seen sitting in the back pew of a church in New York. I thought that was really interesting. Let me just do a little bit of history on him, just to kind of get people to appreciate this man. His art was heavily influenced by the church, by the stained glass, the seriality of the stained glass in the church was sort of what spawned the seriality of his work. We all can do a lot of background stuff on his work, his rise to fame, the people he surrounded himself with, but the messages that he has, I think, are really important. We want to do a little bit of history on why he seemed or looked so odd. He had rheumatic fever when he was a child, and some of the long-term consequences or symptoms or after effects is one of them is called Saint Vitus Dance, and it's where you have involuntary arm movements or large muscle group movements that make you swing your arms or your legs in sort of a jerky direction. So picture this figure, this person already has this problem. Nobody really knows about it. It's pretty rare. It happens after you have rheumatic fever. There are a lot of things that rheumatic fever virus leave you with. He also had severe scarring in his skin as a secondary consequence to the rheumatic fever. And when he was older, he actually had his skin sanded to remove or lighten or fade some of the scar tissue because he was really blotchy. So he was very, very self-conscious. He was bullied in school till he had to leave school. I mean, just an incredible, incredible person. Was homeschooled, and then he started art classes for free at Carnegie and ended up working there. Wow. So I'm going to pull some cards to see if we get more messages. I have asked this over and over in the last few days, and I'm not getting a clear answer. He died mysteriously after gallbladder surgery. He was petrified to go to the hospital after being shot and was afraid that he would die if he went to the hospital because of obviously the very deep-seated trauma that plagued him after his attempted assassination, right? That's what happened. That's what happened. He died a day after, I think. I'm not sure about the exact timing, to be honest with you. But he died right after that gallbladder surgery, and initially it was said he had an arrhythmia or your heart sort of is not making the right electrical connection. In an arrhythmia, it's moving funny. But that was unsatisfactory to the family, who later had him disinterred, and they still couldn't figure out what he died of. Only that the complications from his earlier rheumatic fever with the surgical anatomical issues that he had were contributing factors. And he won't tell me either. So maybe he will. Let's see if we can find out. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. You know what? He's actually very funny. I'm going to pull a couple cards and see. Asking him, what did he die of? I get an overburden. This is a deck that he actually wanted me to pick. It's a very large Shakespeare deck. So we've got like all this burden. His body was heavily burdened. It was too much. It was time to go. We get, this is just great. We get the Hanged Man. Okay. He's not going to tell us exactly what it was. To be or not to be. Interesting. And we get the Four of Cups. I'll confine myself no finer than I am. What do I see in this card? I think there was I'm asking him if it's okay if I say this. He said, go ahead. Okay. Drugs. That there was a polypharmaceutical drug interaction. And it was the mistake of the hospital. I'm going to leave that there. All right. Not to fear that you never really move on, only disintegrate into energy. Okay, and not to blame. He had a contract, and his contract was up, and he did what he needed to do. He always wanted to be famous, and he is, in fact, much more famous as the god of wisdom, poetry, death, and magic. We're going to pull this off. There are a couple things that I wrote down. Freedom. It's time to reconnect. It's time to reconnect. It's available to you, right? Okay, so, wow. Nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. And it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy. What I'm going to do is pull a card from a deck he absolutely, specifically wanted me to dig up and give you a couple messages, important messages. I really, really thank him for letting me know that. Cause of death. Okay. This deck is called Conscious Spirit. It's an oracle deck. Awakening the spirit and rekindling the connection between the cosmos and the earth. That's what it says on the booklet. So I'm going to do this message, and then I'm going to close off with a couple of things that are really important. So he says, celebrate life. Celebrate every day by honoring and respecting all life on Mother Earth. It's colorful, it's green, it's reaching up. It's saying that this energy is available to you. Okay? And the power is in your hands. Your creativity. I appreciate that. There is one thing that was pretty profound that I needed to share that came in, and I don't know if I dated it. I didn't. Just a couple days ago. And that is if you can find the extraordinary in the ordinary, then the ordinary is always extraordinary. So take something that's ordinary and make it extraordinary. Just one little thing. Bring yourself to that place and find something extraordinary in it, because everything is extraordinary. Super cool. Is that not the super coolest thing? So look for it. Look for something that is so incredibly mundane and make it extraordinary. I love that. That was like so awesome. Oh my gosh, there's a little bit more. But I think we'll leave it at that. And I want to close off with, remember, I said he's funny and he loved to laugh and he loved to make people laugh. And he left me with this. He said, Donald Trump never paid for the work that was commissioned with the glitter in it. And he wanted you to laugh about that. So please have a chuckle. I think he's going to hang around and we're going to read some poetry, but that'll be it for the video. And thank you so much. And if you like this, I like to channel the misfits, and they come to me all the time. And I'd love to do more. So let me know. Thank you so much.